Today we're talking about the scary, the strange, the downright unbelievable, from haunted listings to haunted markets. All right, well, and speaking of crazy, haunted, creepy real estate stories, here's one that definitely gives me goosebumps. Yes. All right, so back when we would take REO listings, there was this thing where you had to go and you had to check on the properties pretty much every week.
Yep.
And they're all vacant, of course, right? And so what do most realtors do when they go to a vacant house? They open the door and they yell, "Real estate," really loud, right? Just in case there's a squatter or somebody in the house, just to kind of clear the space, let them know you're coming in. So we do that and we walk in, and it just feels odd and eerie. And a ceiling fan is still going, and it's starting to slow down. So we could tell that the fan had been on and recently turned off. We walk to the back in one of the back bedrooms, look inside, and there's some really random scattered belongings and a wedding dress. The creepiest thing ever. And we're like, what the heck? Nobody was in the house. There was no squatter. There was no one around. And we're like,
big white wedding dress.
Big white wedding dress, just chilling in this bedroom.
Thank goodness.
Like someone had just taken it off.
Yes.
Thank goodness. And that one.
Yeah, it's very strange.
So creepy.
We think someone maybe jumped out the window or went out the back.
Yeah,
was
obviously
trying
someone
this
had to be
wedding
in
dress
there.
on or something. It was weird.
Was it a transient person that's just chilling, walking around with their wedding dress? It was really
the squatter things
strange.
in that era. I mean, it's still real now in certain areas, but man, it was very real. I dealt with that a few times, or because people are getting. I mean, I remember before cash for keys, but it kind of kicked in and dealing with for me, some of the short sales where they're vacating, they don't have enough money to keep the electric on, or people move out.
In Arizona, it's not good when there's no electric and there's no AC.
Oh yeah, houses have a very peculiar smell when they're vacant and the AC is off in Arizona. I know that smell.
Yeah.
If you sell houses in Arizona, you know the smell.
No, I remember dealing with one where it was investor owned, and it was actually I think it was it's one of his family members who was living there, and the house had started to serious deferred maintenance, right? So the roof was starting to collapse, and it was during monsoon season, so water was coming in, and but I think there was drug problems and all kinds of stuff, and so it just smelled rancid. I had to secure the property half a dozen times through the process. It was a fun one.
Yeah, those are the fun ones. They'll stick with you.
Super creepy.
Stick with you forever. Well, while that story definitely living it gave us goosebumps, something else just shook up the market, and that is the Fed's decision yesterday. So let's talk about the 25 basis point cut, but Powell's statement that essentially made mortgage rates go back up.
Yep. Well, mortgage rates, the market, talking about, I mean, like you said, it's obviously the quarter 25 basis points was already priced in. Right. So I think that, you had the typical market reaction, and you're seeing a lot of other reactions around the uncertainty of what's going to happen in, 6 weeks from now, the one more cut, right? That it's not guaranteed.
Yeah. I mean, that's really what upset the market is him saying December's any kind of December cut is far from available or thought that it's going to be needed or not. So he doesn't. We don't know.
He made a comment about when you're driving in the fog, what do? You slow down. And so he said they're going to analyze every speck of data they can find in order to make the best decision.
Yeah, he's just trying to keep the market from running.
That's what he's trying to do.
Because if you were to come in here super dovish, it would. I mean, the stock market and all the market would just go crazy.
Yeah, the capital markets would go in.
So.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, to me, he seems like usually a pretty sure-footed kind of guy, and yesterday he was not sure-footed. Right? I felt like he was a little stammerish, at times. Definitely seems like there's a lot of controversy going on behind the doors. And I thought especially his big statement around quantitative easing, a lot of people, I for one, from everything I've heard, it had either stopped or was due to stop, right? Which is where they're sucking up the money out of the actual dollars out of the economy, literally burning them. And where he basically said that that's going to continue until December. So that means less money in circulation, right? Everything hence
the tightening.
The
tightening.
Yeah, quantitative easing.
No. It's quantitative tightening.
Tightening, yeah.
What comes when it's easing? That's when they start printing. That's when they start adding to the balance sheet. Right now they're running off the balance sheet right now, but they're going to stop in December, and then
the big beautiful bill is going to kick in.
Yeah.
The $6 trillion. Print.
And then we're going to print like crazy. What I found to be interesting is Larry Fink was recently at a World Financial Forum, and he was at a table with like Bill Ackerman and all the
Jamie Dimon.
Yeah, Jamie Dimon, all like the big banking billionaires, right? And Larry Fink was educating everyone, and you could see like, you know, there were a lot of Saudis in the room and whatnot. He was educating everyone on how the digitization and tokenization of assets is coming fast and furious. And he was basically saying basically telling everyone, you don't understand how quickly this is all going to happen.
Yeah. This is like a slowly then suddenly
kind
of mentality.
We talked about that the other day.
Yeah,
I like that statement.
I watched the clip with Jamie Dimon talking, or he finally kind of bent the knee on Bitcoin and the blockchain. He calls it the blockchain.
Yeah.
He won't actually say Bitcoin.
I love when people are like the blockchain.
The blockchain.
The Bitcoin.
The Bitcoin.
It was the blockchain.
Yes. and then he plugged the JP Morgan coin too.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Isn't it so funny, all
Everyone's
of these
gonna have their own
guys?
coin.
I mean, and again, I guess it's easy to kind of get caught with your pants down, you know, metaphorically here, to where they were like, oh, it's a pet rock, it's a Ponzi scheme, you know, all these things. And now there's just massive adoption by them.
Right. We can no longer call it that.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
undeniable at this point.
Well, and I mean, at the end of the day, it does come down to funny money and inflation, right? Because that is no longer an asset, right? Because it can just be printed. So it's now that they're very clear on going and getting hard assets.
Well, them actually being a part of it, I think, is going to slow down some of that and slow down some of the bleeding in the banks.
Yeah.
If they continued to turn their head to it, I think they would get smashed. But now they're trying to add to it. They're trying to create their own coins. So now they'll continue to try to kick the ball down the court or down the field. But
Mastercard's getting in on it as well. They just
They
spent $2 billion to acquire Zero Hash, which is a crypto company, and so they're also wanting to get in. But the interesting thing is that you look at the processing fees for credit card companies, and they're insane.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like 3%,
Especially compared
right?
to the
yes, and then compared to processing fees for crypto, which are negligible.
Yeah, well, they're
pennies.
0.00s.
Fractions.
Yeah, fractions of pennies.
Yep.
So it'll be really interesting and fun to see how that shakes out. But we have some big names in real estate saying that mortgage rates can't fall enough for homes to be affordable.
Yeah.
So Warren Buffett recently came out and said that his Berkshire Hathaway group and Zillow is saying the same things, that like rates can't fall fast enough in order for homes to be affordable, which is leading to articles coming out about ARMs. So I saw an article on CNBC about, how home buyers should be considering ARMs. And I thought that was interesting because we talk a lot about ARMs here, maybe some of the things that builders do as well. So when is a good time for a home buyer to consider an adjustable rate mortgage, which is an ARM?
Well, I think, what was it, Jay? You were talking about date the rate, marry the house a couple days ago. And I think that now is that particular time, because you can obviously get a lower rate. And I mean, as long as there's no prepayment penalties, when these lower rates come out and you can refi out of it, to get away from the rate and get a 30-year fixed, to me, we're there now.
Yeah, it's if you're going to gamble on something like that, on an adjustable rate mortgage, I think right now is the time. If we weren't getting a new Fed governor in May of 2026, then I would say I wouldn't do that. But I think whoever the administration is going to pick is going to they're going to slash interest rates down hard.
I think it's going to go to
and they're going to pump the markets right before the primary. What do you call those elections?
Yeah, midterm primaries or something, because it's the governor's elections, right, that are going to go on. You have the president, and then the governors.
Yep. So they're going to pump the market. They want the markets to feel really, really good. They want the markets to feel, they want everyone to feel rich.
They feel chummy.
They want everyone to feel rich.
Yeah.
So they go, hey,
am
I better? Am I better off right now? Yes, I am. So I want to vote in the same
political party.
Political party. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So manipulation. Ben Bernanke, when he was Fed chair, he specifically said that in
Yeah.
a meeting that,
Yeah.
that's one of the tools at their disposal was to make Americans feel wealthy with home price appreciation.
Yes.
And you just hear these things and you think, okay, this is crazy. We're just being
It's
manipulated.
it's manipulation.
Yeah.
It's manipulation. It is. But I mean, that's that's where it is unique, right? Like when we're talking about like the Fed chair that is a private company that has a crazy amount of influence, even over governments, et cetera. Which I actually heard something, and I know this has been a part of the discussions for a while, but that going to pull the Fed ultimately underneath the government. So
You said the bad word.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it.
Well, and does he have the authority to do that? It'll be really interesting to see what plays out. But this story we just had to share because it's crazy. So in Mississippi, a truck carrying research monkeys overturned. And as a result, there are 3 missing monkeys on the loose.
Good for those monkeys, man. Get out of there. Yeah.
I'm envisioning like
They're
Con
research
Air where they're
monkeys?
jailbreak.
Yeah, again, these monkeys. But didn't you say that these monkeys are like not the ones that you want to like cuddle? These are like they're gonna bite
They're
you.
aggressive. Yes, they're very aggressive.
So if you're in Mississippi and you see
Well,
a
they're
monkey,
research monkeys. So.
oh, it is not just a cute little monkey. It could be aggressive. Call authorities. Do not go near it.
Well, and some monkeys, right? Like it's kind of funny how many different little, I don't want to say like species of monkey, right? Because you have like the ones that are like little and ones that like are pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah, like those little cute cuddly ones that you see on online all
like
the
our
time.
cute little
that are-
monkey.
Yeah.
The orangutans
the ones
are
that are
the
like
mean
wild.
ones,
They
yeah.
look cute.
They rip
They-
your face off.
They're not cute.
Right, until they open their jaw and you're like, oh my gosh, how do you open your mouth that big? And they got these big old fangs.
Yes.
So scary. Well, what do you think? Drop it in the comments below, and thanks for tuning in.